Difficult surfaces to bat. CSK prepare these 140, 150 sort of games. It's a different time, different era. It's the same MS Dhoni, who at the back of some fine innings by Devin Conway and Ruturaj Gaikwad and some cameos in the middle by Shivam Dube and Ambati Raidu, has powered his side to 217. A man who's going to turn 42 in a few months, hitting what, 152 Ks an hour, back-to-back sixes in the final over. Mark Wood is still among the wickets, but it's not quite been the economy that we were boasting of in that pre-show on ESPN Cricket for T20 timeout. Tom Moody and Deep Das Gupta were nicely sitting in their chair when that last over began, and we watched it, and we all sort of went like that when we saw Dhoni the second six. There's so much on that. The fact that we're back at Chennai, it's a full house. Yeah. He's 42. We don't know if he'll bat every game. He's batting lower than he ever has every game. And we see him do that to a bowler who's at the peak of his powers. Deep, your reaction just on that first?
Reaction would be like, I mean, that's what all those guys, whatever 30, 40,000 people were there at the stadium to see that, right? And they got it. They've got what they paid for. Even if it was just 3 deliveries, I think that was it. That was vintage MS for those 2 deliveries. That's it. And the second 6, that sounded so good, straight off the bat. Wow.
Am I getting carried away if I said even some of those Indian players in the Lucknow team or sitting in the Lucknow bench would have gone, that was nice to see that.
I think the cricketing world has gone... Simple as that, because that was special. You know, he's defying a lot of things, and he seems to just rise to the to the occasion for his fans, and obviously, his team. You know, it's an important game for Chennai, and they need to get off the mark, and they need to have a win at home early, and he's just played his role. It's a small role, but it's a significant one.
No cricket in between the 2 IPLs. No top-level sort of exposure or match practice, turning 42. Why is he not sticking to what we know of how people should age? I mean, I'm just trying to think. Is he looking fitter for you?
Definitely. That's what we were talking about.
The previous years?
That's exactly what we were talking about. Like last year, he was big and he was beefed up and all. Yeah. We could see the muscles and stuff. But he looks very athletic this year. You know, he looks leaner, fitter. That's amazing. And listen, I mean, as far as him practicing is concerned, I can go back to when we started. We were from the same zone. He would never really was a big believer in practicing.
Yes.
He would, I don't know, a lot of his cricket is the mental side of things, how he would prepare himself mentally and stuff like that. He was never big on, hitting the ball or keeping drills and stuff like that. I was surprised actually, first time around. So both of us were there in the team. I said, okay, you give me a few catches after that was done. I said, do you want to do any drills? He said, no, I'm good. Took a ball, started bowling in the nets.
Forget all the physical, technical side. I'm just trying to think, how much can emotion and adrenaline do? In 2019, when MS last played at the Chepauk, he was an active international cricketer. 2 years on, COVID, 4 years on, beg your pardon, COVID and whatnot, cricket in the UAE, cricket at specific venues, not Chennai, cricket only in Mumbai. Back here now, full sea of yellow, he walks out for 2 balls. Suddenly, nothing else matters.
Yeah, look, he's an incredible case study, really, and I think he's a good example to a successful ageing cricketer, and we saw one last night as well in Faf du Plessis. You know, those that look after themselves physically, it keeps their mind also strong. I think those things go hand in hand, and clearly one thing that MS does do is he's a very proud professional, he's a very proud person, and he does a lot of work. You can see that. Yeah. It's he hasn't just turned up and put a yellow shirt on and said, "Here we go again." He's put a lot of work behind the scenes that we're not seeing, and you can see that just at the toss. He physically looked athletic and he looked like he was ready to go. And having spoken to Stephen Fleming a few times over recent years, he's sort of saying, "Oh, we're starting our pre-season at this time because MS wants to come early." So in the earlier days that you're talking about, Deep, that was when he was at the peak of his powers and he just needed muscle memory. But now the older you get, the harder you got to train, both with your skills and physically. And he's clearly done that, and he's done that behind closed doors, and he's reaping the rewards.
True, because I was in Chennai in December, end of December, and I was told MS has come to Chennai and hit the nets as well. So he started pretty early in December.
So it is winter in December back there. Anyway, it's brilliant. It was so good to watch MS Dhoni doing what he did. We spent rightly, a lot of time on the 3-ball innings. It's just the kind of 3-ball innings you need. Let's talk about the 3 innings that mattered before that. Let's start with the openers. Ruturaj Gaikwad at the back of his 90-odd against Gujarat Titans, 57 of 31, along with Devon Conway, an opening partnership of 110 in just 9.1 overs. It's not quite the surface that we thought we'd see, Tom, where you thought he might get 150, 160.
Yeah, it certainly is a very good batting surface. You know, whether it's 200 plus or not, we'll see in the second innings. But 2 classy openers, aren't they?
Yeah.
Aren't they a delight to watch, Conway and Gaikwad? And the way that Gaikwad's playing spin, you know, I know he's got a reputation of playing spin very well, but, you know, he has to be a serious consideration for higher honours, you know, very, very soon, because his footwork is just an absolute delight, and the way he can pick it up over the offside with ease and equally do it over the leg side, class.
You've observed an upgrade or an improvement in his footwork, Deep?
Absolutely. I mean, first season, he had a huge front foot stride. He was very good off the front foot. I think year 2, which was last season, a lot of bowlers picked it up and they started bowling short at him. So he got out to quite a few short deliveries. But the first innings, the 90-odd runs, the first game, he was pulling. He was hitting off the front foot over mid-off and covers, and this innings as well. So you could see that he's more comfortable playing off both the sides, both the foot as such. So I think he's definitely an upgrade from what we've seen last couple of seasons. Yeah.
All right. Tactical review from both teams. Let's start with CSK. 2-7, you think they'd be very happy. But Shivam Dube walking in after that blistering opening stand, followed by Moeen and then Ben Stokes, who ended up coming in the 16th over. Tom, Moody? Thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't get that, to be honest with you. I thought it was a tactical flaw. Yes, it recovered itself, but it relied on a flurry of sixes and a boundary in the last 3 or 4 balls that Dube faced to recover what was looking like a disastrous decision.
Yeah.
And I think he ended up striking, 165 or 168 or something. So it ended up okay. Yeah. But when you got Stokes and Moeen Ali and Raidu and Dhoni and Jadeja, I'd love to know the thinking behind it.
Okay, I'm going to come deeper into this at the end of the game, but regardless, it was an interesting one. Review from Lucknow on how they use their bowlers. Almir's bowled 2 in the power play. Mark Wood only bowled the 6th over, and we did not see Bishnoi until the 10th, who clearly was the standout bowler for Lucknow.
Yeah, a bit surprising, isn't it? So Mark Wood came and bowled the 6th, while everyone else was going at, not that he also went for 12 and over in the end. But then why not? If somebody's in good rhythm, good flow, he's picked up a fifer in the last game, let him come and bowl in the first few. I do understand the Kyle Mayers thing, bowling the first over, but at times I think it's kind of negative. Yeah. You want to kind of, in your words, bank an over. I'd rather get my premier bowler to come and bowl the first over and maybe try and pick
a wicket.
Bank a wicket rather than bank an over. So yeah, I mean, so that's one thing, and Bishnoi as well. I mean, I can understand if he's not comfortable bowling in the first 6, but as soon as the first 6 is done, the 7th over itself, get him on.
I mean, if they are going to fall just a few short, because they've got a good batting lineup themselves, they might think they could have just controlled things a bit better in those first 8 or 9 overs when CSK just raced past 100 in the first 9. Tom, what did you make of KL Rahul and Lucknow's tactics?
I thought the bowling deployment was poor. I agree with Deep in that. You know, when you're in a situation where when you're clearly having a runaway partnership, you've got to take wickets. So you've got to bring on your wicket-taking bowling. And I couldn't understand. I think Wood's first over was the 6th over, so the last in the power play. Now, to me, that's where you bowl your best defensive bowler. You know, you need your wicket-taking bowler, which Wood is a wicket-taking bowler, bowling anything, you know, the first up to the 5th over, and not only bowling 1, possibly 2 of those overs. So I couldn't understand that, him bowling that 6th over. And Bishnoi, it's easy to say after the event and, you know, after him bowling well, but it did seem he's the specialist spinner on that surface that's going to skid the ball on. He had to bowl earlier.
Yeah. And the thing is, I mean, you've got to get your best bowlers when they have the best chance of picking wickets, right? Not when somebody is batting at 40 or something. Yeah, he's batting 40 of 20 and you get your best bowlers and then expect them to pick up wickets.
Horses bolted.
It's unfair. Yeah,
Horses bolted.
Yeah. I'm also a bit surprised that we haven't seen Marcus Stoinis, the bowler, given he bowled in 2 out of the 3 ODIs against India, one at Chennai that they ended up winning. Would have been handy today.
Stones actually opened the bowling in the second one, right?
In the last one as well.
He picked up Ishan Kishan, if I'm not wrong, in the very first over. So yeah, it's a bit surprising. I mean, he does have that luxury as well. If you think about KL Rahul, I mean, he's got what 7 bowling options in that team, including someone like Deepak Hooda.
Yeah, Yash Thakur bowled well on his debut. It almost made you feel like that sort of bowler who could maybe bowl those slow bouncers would be handy.
Yeah, I was impressed. He was a bit quicker than I was expecting. He hit sort of the high 130s, and he's got a decent slower ball. He bowled one probably at the wrong time that went straight over his head for 6, but apart from that, he's got pace and he seems to hurry onto the bat with a good off-cutter. So, yeah, good start for him.
I mean, for me, I think he's got the skills. That's most important. I think how he's going to use that, I mean, that will boil down to a bit of experience and, people around him as well.
Not bad from Ambati Raidu.
Oh, wow. Bad? That was very modest.
So we got carried away with Dhoni hitting Wood for 2 sixes. How about Raidu stepping out? Retired player, doesn't play any cricket.
He would be around 40 as well.
37 and counting. Is what his birth certificate says. And stepping out to hit Wood for 6 like that. And it wasn't a slow ball.
It wasn't a slow ball. You said it was 147, right? You're watching us. So
awesome. 147. 147.8.
0.8. Sorry, the 0.8 matters. But yeah, I mean, again, calculation, he kind of had an idea where the bowler is going to bowl and what he wanted to do. I think a lot of it, when you age and you have that kind of experience, you can kind of lean on it and kind of, more often than not, it serves you well. And I think that's what has happened here. But again, some of those shots were unbelievable. That 6 of Mark Wood he flicked wasn't a bad delivery, but I think he was really, really good.
I think with the Raidu, it's an interesting one because he's a player that's not playing for his future. He's playing very much for the present. You have a lot of younger players that are playing for the future, as in, the back of their mind is performance. I've got to perform. I need to be consistent. Where Raidu, this is the end of his career. This is the twilight of his career. Whether he can squeeze another season out, I don't think that's a major concern for him.
Very interesting point. Because CSK have a knack for going after those players too. They got the best out of Robin Uthappa.
So that unlocks people. That unlocks them to think that they're not even bothered. Well, they are bothered with their performance. They are bothered in performing well consistently, but it just unlocks that freedom.
So now with the option of actually going and playing leagues outside India as well, which someone like Robin and all are doing, so that kind of also frees you up. So even if, you don't play the IPL next season or something, you still know you have another couple of years of playing cricket at least somewhere in the world. So that might, that's a great point actually. That might free a lot of these guys up.
He makes good points. So that's why we have him. He's awesome.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, eye for talent.
And you also. You are there for the good looks also. Anyway,
sharp haircut too today.
Very good. Very good. It's the World Feed BCCI comms are all.
Let's move on.
Awesome. This has been such a fun innings to watch. We've covered pretty much everything. Let's have a quick word in on Ravi Bishnoi. He's the other standout bowler today. He's improved as the leg spinner and the googly bowler.
Yeah, the first few years it was predominantly googlies, right? So first year people didn't figure that out. Second year onwards, you kind of were ready for him bowling only googlies. But end of last season onwards, in fact Asia Cup onwards, he's picked up the leg spin as well. His leg spinners, he's got a little side armish action. He lets his arm fall a bit, and he gets the ball to actually spin his leg spinner. So he's not one-dimensional in your words anymore, Raunak. So he's got a few more.
Did I call
obviously.
him? No, I said that about. It'll be interesting to see how Lucknow approach this. Mayers and Rahul, of course, have walked out already. The impact sub has also been activated, and Ayush Badoni has replaced Avesh Khan. So there's more batting now in that team, as we just think of how they could use their key players, X-factor players or impact players. Shouldn't use that term anymore. But Nicholas Pooran was kept as a finisher, which we were interested to see what his new franchise does with him. Is there a case for him to bat a bit differently when you're chasing 218?
Oh, I think, well, it really depends on the start that you get. But everyone's going to have to put their hand up in that batting line. It's simple as that if they're going to win this game. And they've got the luxury to be able to go hard, or they don't have the option either. But they've got the they've got the luxury because they've got the depth and they've got the players that have got the capability of. They've got 6 hitters in their side, so they can chase this down. It's a very good surface, and if dew is starting to settle, on the outfield. It's going to be hard for the fielding and the bowling group out there. So I wouldn't be writing this off as a pencil in a win for Chennai just quite yet.
Okay, interesting. Also, I guess what will extend to Tom's point is the concern we have of CSK's death bowling. I don't know if they've confirmed again Tushar Deshpande as the impact sub, but is that the smartest option, the extra seam bowler, or could they have?
They don't have too many options. I'm not too sure what's wrong with Simranjeet there.
Simranjeet may be carrying.
Might be carrying a niggle or something because he's not there.
So Deshpande, as we speak, has just walked out.
Yeah. So I guess I completely agree with Tom on that. I mean, one, they don't have an option. LHG, they don't have an option, so that frees them up. They can bat freely because they need 11 and over from ball one, so almost 11 and over. So that's there. They've got the depth, the players, and also the opposition. I mean, that for me, on paper at least, looks like the weakest bowling unit.
Do you have your death bowlers identified in this team? I don't think Stokes is still going to bowl, but is it more of the same of what we saw against Gujarat?
It's very hard to predict what MS Dhoni's going to do. He'll do the opposite of what we're thinking, but there isn't any genuine death bowler, is there, in their lineup. So their hope will be to take as many wickets as they can in the first 10 overs to give them the flexibility in the back 10.
Okay.
And also, I mean, the inexperience, that's obviously one of the key issues, but with MS, he knows exactly what he wants out of these guys and he'll get it out of them more often than not.
Brilliant. Predictions. Tom says it's not over. Deep, you first.
CSK.
CSK easy?
No, it's not. It won't be easy, but he won't pencil it down, but I'll pencil it down.
Okay.
Well, with pencil you can rub it out. I think CSK, but it could be quite close.
I think they're going to hammer them. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Who?
CSK will hammer Lucknow. Yeah. I should always specify. Yeah, maybe all out or something in the 12th over, and we'll be in for an early finish. Ambati Rayudu has become the first player in IPL history to be impact subbed out twice. So there's a little bit of useless trivia for you. As Tushar Deshpande will replace him, and we've already mentioned to you that Ayush Dhoni will bat to lengthen that batting order for Lucknow. Thank you very much to Tom Moody and Deep Dasgupta. It should be a cracking game. It's fun to have cricket back at the Chepauk, and after what we've just seen, let's see if they enjoy their return to the ground, or will KL Rahul and co spoil their party. Cover the game live, follow the game live on our ball-by-ball coverage, ESPN Cricinfo, the mobile app. Get it from the App Store and Play Store, and you'll have plenty that'll be written and said on our show here that you could consume at your own time once this game is done. It's a proper retro CSK game, this, at least for the first half. Let's see if it goes on. See you in a bit.